You know that person. The one who talks over you in meetings. The one who makes a snide comment and then acts like you're the problem for reacting to it. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's someone you see every single day, and you've started dreading the interaction before it even happens. And here's the part nobody tells you. It's not going away. There is no version of your life, no job, no city, no relationship status where difficult people stop existing. So the real question isn't how do you avoid them? It's what do you do with the fact that they're already here? Almost 2,000 years ago, a man was dealing with this exact problem, except his version of difficult people included generals plotting behind his back, court officials flattering him to his face and undermining him in private, and a family that gave him more grief than most of us will ever have to deal with. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome, arguably the most powerful man alive at the time. And you'd think that kind of power would insulate you from other people's nonsense. It didn't. If anything, it multiplied it. Everyone wanted something from him. Everyone had an angle. And in the middle of running an empire, fighting wars on the frontier, he kept a private journal. Not for anyone else to read, just for himself, where he worked through exactly this problem. That journal became the book we now call Meditations. And what's striking is that some of his most direct, most practical writing isn't about leadership or legacy. It's about how to not lose your mind around people who are difficult on purpose or by accident. That's what we're going to walk through. The first thing Marcus does, and he does this almost every single day in his journal, is he prepares himself in advance. Before he even leaves his tent or his room, he tells himself something like, "Today I'm going to run into people who are ungrateful, people who are rude, people who are dishonest, people who are only looking out for themselves." And at first that sounds bleak. It sounds like he's just expecting the worst from everyone. But that's not actually what he's doing. He's not saying people are evil. He's saying, this is what humans are like sometimes. And if I know that going in, it can't blindside me. Think about the difference between getting cut off in traffic when you're expecting a calm, easy drive versus getting cut off when you already know rush hour is chaos and people are going to be reckless. Same event, completely different emotional impact. Marcus is doing that, but for people. He's not lowering his opinion of humanity. He's lowering his own vulnerability to surprise. The second move he makes is more interesting, and it's the one most people skip past. He asks himself, why does this person act this way? And his answer, over and over in the text, is that people don't do wrong on purpose in the sense of choosing evil for its own sake. They do wrong because they're confused about what's actually good for them. Somebody who's cruel to you at work, in his view, isn't secretly plotting your downfall for fun. They're chasing something they think will make them safer, more respected, more secure, and they've just gone about it in a broken way. That doesn't make the behavior okay, but it changes what the behavior means. It stops being a personal verdict on your worth and starts being a symptom of that person's own confusion. And once you see it that way, it's genuinely harder to take it personally, because you're not the target. You just happen to be standing where their confusion landed. From there, Marcus goes even further, And this is where it gets uncomfortable for a lot of people the first time they hear it. He argues that when you get angry at someone's bad behavior, the anger itself does more damage to you than their original action did. Read that again. Not that the anger is unjustified. He's not saying you have no right to be upset. He's making a much colder, more practical claim. The offense happened once. It's over. It's in the past. But the anger you carry afterward, replaying it, rehearsing the comeback you should have said, losing sleep over it, that keeps the wound open indefinitely. The other person moves on with their day. You're the one still bleeding. So functionally, your anger becomes a second injury, one you're inflicting on yourself, and it's usually worse than the first. Underneath all of this is Marcus's central idea, the one everything else in his philosophy hangs off of. There is a hard line between what's in your control and what isn't. Other people's behavior, their rudeness, their dishonesty, their pettiness, that is not in your control. You cannot manage it. You cannot force it to be different, no matter how badly you want to. What is in your control is your own judgment about it and your own response. Marcus treats this almost like a law of nature. Trying to control someone else's behavior is like being angry at the rain for being wet. It's a category error. The only lever you actually have is your own mind. And so his entire approach to difficult people isn't about changing them. It's about refusing to hand them control over the one thing that was always yours. That doesn't mean he's telling you to just take it and smile. He's clear that if someone's doing something wrong, you're allowed, even expected, to point it out. But the way you do it matters. He talks about correcting people the way you'd guide a friend, not the way you'd humiliate an enemy. No contempt, no superiority, just a clear, calm attempt to help them see something they're missing. And if it doesn't work, if they don't change, that's not a failure on your part. You did the honest thing. What they do with it is, once again, outside your control. And then there's one more piece, almost a mental exercise he prescribes to himself. When someone's really getting under your skin, deliberately go looking for something decent in them. Not to excuse what they did, but as a discipline. Because Marcus understood something that a lot of people in power forget. If you let every difficult person convince you that people in general are garbage, you start operating from suspicion and contempt as your default setting. And that poisons every relationship, even the good ones. So this isn't about being naive. It's maintenance. It's keeping your own perspective from rotting. Now let's actually put this somewhere real, because philosophy that stays abstract is useless. Say you've got a coworker who takes credit for your work in meetings. Classic difficult person. The old response is to spend your whole commute home replaying it, getting angrier, rehearsing the argument you wish you'd had. Marcus's approach flips the sequence. First, expect it. You already know this person does this, so when it happens again, there's no shock, no derailment. You're not thrown off your whole day by something you basically already knew was coming. Second, consider why. Not to let them off the hook, but because someone who needs to steal credit is usually someone who's insecure about their own standing, not someone operating from strength. That doesn't fix the situation, but it changes how much power the moment has over you. Third, separate the two problems. Their behavior is one problem, and it's not yours to control. Your reaction is the other problem, and that one's entirely yours. You can calmly, directly address it afterward. Pull them aside, say something to your manager, whatever's appropriate, without needing to marinate in resentment first. And notice, none of this requires you to pretend it didn't happen or to be a pushover. It just means you're not giving away your evening, your mood, your sleep to someone who didn't even earn that much space in your head. Same logic applies to a difficult family member at a holiday dinner, a partner who won't stop picking fights, a friend who flakes constantly. The mechanism doesn't change. Expect the pattern. Understand it's coming from their confusion, not some verdict on you. Respond to what's yours to respond to. Let go of what was never yours to control in the first place. Here's where people get this wrong, and it's worth being honest about it. Some guys hear,
focus on what you control, and turn it into an excuse to never speak up. They use Stoicism as a shield for avoidance. Just swallow it, say nothing. Call it not letting it bother me, when really it's just conflict avoidance wearing a philosophy costume. That is not what Marcus is describing. He directly corrected people. He held positions of enormous authority and made hard calls about people who wronged him. Detachment, in his sense, isn't the same as passivity. It's not about pretending you don't care or refusing to act. It's about not needing the other person to change or apologize or even acknowledge what they did before you can be at peace. You can set a boundary, end a friendship, confront someone directly, and still be practicing exactly what Marcus is talking about. Because the peace comes from not being emotionally hostage to their behavior, not from staying silent about it.
So if there's one line to take from all of this, it's this. Difficult people can control what they do, but they only get to control how you feel about it if you let them. If this kind of thing is useful to you, thinking clearly under pressure, dealing with people without losing yourself in the process, that's basically what this channel is about. Stick around, there's more of this coming.